So just to start off, J.C. Spence was out this game.
Yeah.
And I spoke with him, and he mentioned it was because he got a T last game.
Yeah.
I think that's an interesting philosophy. I don't know if many coaches would take their best player out of a game.
Yeah, well,
so.
it's not about any player. It's about the culture, and it's about setting the standard for the culture. And he knows that. And he made a couple of mistakes, and he understands there's consequences for that. But it's not about one individual guy. Strasburg basketball is bigger than one individual guy. It's about the culture. We set standards for our culture, and we stick to them, and they're strict standards. And I think that's been a big part of our success in the last 3 years. Has been leaning on the culture in tough moments like tonight. You know what I mean? And these kids have taken it to heart, and they've accepted it, and they've embraced it. And it's a big attribute to have a kid like JC who is sitting out a game for disciplinary reasons, but is still engaged, and he's a great leader on the sidelines for our young guys. And that's that's big to me, to see a young man that mature to do stuff like that.
Yeah. And then, especially with the loss of JC tonight, how big has Mitchell stepped up in a leadership role, not only this season, but especially tonight, big free throws at the end?
Last night he texts me and he's like, what can I do to be a great leader tomorrow night? And we went down a list of things, that he can do to be a great leader tonight. But number one was not worry about himself and lift other teammates up. And that's kind of how we do things in our program. I thought he did a great job of lifting guys up after mistakes, talking positive. It's not about just going out there and hitting shots, scoring points. It's the little things. In our program, it's the intangibles in our program that mean a lot to our guys. And for a school as small as us to compete in the Patriot League night in and night out, we have to have something special. We don't have as many athletes. We've got some great kids that work their tails off. Yeah, we have some athletic kids, we have some talented kids, but our culture and what we do as Strasburg basketball is so strong. It's so strong, and these guys uphold it every time they step on the floor. And winning in the Patriot League on the road, tough wins on the road, and we were tough tonight. I was very, very proud of my guys, how they stuck together and they stayed composed through some tough moments.
Last year you finished 4th in the Patriot League behind Platte Valley, Sterling, and Rez.
Mm-hmm.
You lost to all 3 of those teams last year. This year you've already
We did get Platte Valley back last year in the UNC in the Patriot League tournament. No.
and you did get them this year.
Yeah. Yep.
And you have the Sterling game was postponed, and then the Rez is coming up, so you're gonna play those 2 teams.
Yeah,
next.
we'll be tested.
What do you, to avenge those losses from last year? What are you thinking about?
It's not about avenging those losses from last year. It's about how good can we be this year. How good can we be this year? That's the only focus. Last year. It doesn't matter to us anymore. Sterling and Rez are great. And it's going to take a great effort from us to beat either of those teams. We don't worry so much in our program about what other teams are doing. We worry about being the best version of ourselves every single night. If we're the best version of ourselves every night, we know good things are going to happen. So we focus a lot in our program on what we do. What makes us good. We talk about when we're on the sidelines, what do we want to hear from players. What's the engagement level and what we're doing as the game is going on. We're not worried about what Sterling and Rez are doing. They're great. They have great players. They set the standard in our league year in, year out. So when we play teams like that, we have to worry about us.